Politics took a back seat this week, if only for a short while, with the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise and 5 other people at a baseball field.
Loyola Marymount Professor Michael Genovese joins us live this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, we saw a kinder, more compassionate Congress this week in the wake of that shooting. How long do you think this will last, Professor?
Hopefully a long time, but probably a very short period of time. The long record of incendiary language, hateful language, and it's true from both parties. No party has a monopoly on the ugliness that we see. But it began, most people think, with Nixon and the enemies list, and it just accelerated from there to the point now where we have a president who talks about Lion Ted and Little Marco and Crooked Hillary. And so we can blame politicians for this. It's very easy, but we need to turn the mirror on ourselves. We keep electing people who are purveyors of hatred and ugly language and incendiary, sometimes violent language. And so they'll stop doing it when we demand that they stop doing it. And until we demand that they stop, they will continue with the ugly polarization.
Okay. The president has only been in office for 5 months, and already we're hearing rumblings of impeachment. Is this a little premature? I mean, is he really in that much hot water?
It is very premature, but it's not completely uncalled for. It's very early, as you mentioned. We've only seen now the tip of the iceberg. We don't know what's beneath the surface, but that's what the House, Senate, and special prosecutor are going to help us find out. But right now you see a constant drip, drip, drip of information that's damaging to the president and also distracts him from his agenda. Few people are calling for impeachment, very few. Lawrence Tribe of Harvard, Ben Sherman of Southern California. But you have to remember that this week, the vice president hired an attorney, and the president's lawyer hired an attorney. And so, the president provides them with ammunition because of the tweets. He's the poster child of self-incrimination. And if he'd stop tweeting, he would stop providing evidence to the prosecutor and would lower the temperature of the investigation.
On what grounds would pro-impeachment advocates be likely to move forward on this, and how strong of a case do they have?
Well, one of the grounds would be the emoluments clause, violation of that, which prevents or forbids the president from profiting by the office. He's probably already violated that, and so if there are impeachment articles, that'll be one. But obstruction of justice would be the most damaging, and the president has already said to Lester Holt and others, I fired Comey to get rid of the investigation into Russia. So in a way, he's self-incriminated on that. So it's gone from remote and unlikely to possible and imaginable. And it's like the last 2 weeks especially, the president's jumped into the deep end of the pool before he learned how to swim.
Now, you have written several books on Richard Nixon and the Watergate scandal. How does a case for impeachment really get built?
There are 2 ways, inside out or outside in. The outside in is the normal one, and so you're seeing that taking place now. Paul Manafort, the president's campaign manager, in trouble because of money with Russia and Ukraine. Flynn, trouble with lobbying in Turkey. The son-in-law, trouble. Some of the other members of the administration in trouble. And so what you try to do is get those people, make a case against them, and hope that they will talk in exchange for a better deal. The other way is the inside out, which is unusual, but the president has provided that ammunition by all the tweets and all of his comments, which are self-incriminating.
We talked about obstruction of justice and financial gain, but what are other impeachable offenses that they could get him on? Well,
there are a whole variety of things. Abuse of power is probably the most generic, but also one of the most important. That's what they went after Nixon and Clinton on. Impeachment doesn't require a legal violation of the criminal law. It can be a political decision, and the framers, when they wrote the Constitution, were very clear that things like abuse of power, failure to faithfully execute the law, dereliction of duty, all of these things could be considered impeachable. So there's both a legal and a political end to impeachment.
All right. Professor Michael Genovese, thanks so much for joining us. Always appreciate the insight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.